Yo, what's up guys? How is everyone doing? Wow, okay, so I'm just gonna get straight into it, and you know what? I was actually supposed to make a completely different video today. I had a super bullish video coming out, on one specific altcoin, so, I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get to do that, but, you know guys, if you've been watching the markets today, we're at the critical decision point now, which, give me a second, I'm sorry. Which I told you guys I have been eyeing for a long time now. And that is 6,400. So, you know, let's just recap real quick what we're looking at before we go into the absolute carnage that we've been seeing in these markets. And guys, once you do get in, while you're getting into this stream, make sure to hit the like button because it really does help get this channel out to more people. And of course, drop your comments as you come in as well. So, Mark, Horber, Joe, and Thomas, welcome to the stream. Keith, I hope it holds. Same. But you know, let's just recap what we're looking at here. We've got this relative triple bottom area. So we bottomed out at 69.50 on February. We had this area of consolidation in the 6,000 range, and right now we're in the same area once again. We're at pretty much the low which we saw in April. You know, the difference here is now we've gotten to this low much faster once we started this dump from about the 7,000 levels. So that is a little bit concerning. I have good news and bad news as always, and what I like to always do in these streams is present to you the bullish scenario and the bearish scenario, let you make your own decision, and then tell you what my viewpoint is personally. And guys, you know, Bitcoin, it wicked down to 6,400, just above. Litecoin, you know, under $100. Where is it? 100 now. It went down to like 99 or something, a little bit lower on some exchanges probably. And even Ethereum, I mean, down below $500 for the first time in a decent while. It is absolute carnage right now. Everything is on fire. Everyone's getting liquidated. But, you know, let's talk about these markets and see what's going to go on. And as I said, once you guys are in, make sure you drop your questions if you have them. And yeah, so let's look at what what the situation is right now. So guys, if you saw my stream yesterday, I did say we're going to be looking at a rising wedge, and that we're going to go up to 7,000 or 7,200. So obviously that prediction was completely off. We only reached a high of about 6,800, just above that. So if you guys did have your longs in, hopefully you did profit them like I had the opportunity to. You should always be laddering longs and shorts if you're margin trading, or even if you're doing regular trading. It doesn't work to go all in and all out of a position at the same time. So if you have been laddering your positions, you'd still be in some profits right now, and obviously stop losses are extremely important. So, yeah, I mean, this was a very obvious price movement here. You know, we had this dump breaking down below this rising wedge. Like I said, I didn't expect this to happen so quickly. If you saw my posts in Telegram, link in the description as usual, I didn't think that we would be breaking down this quickly, but we did. And we hit a low of about, you know, 64.50, and we're seeing a bounce now. So this is just one of those reaction rallies. I mean, we can see very clearly on the volume, this dump was pretty big. It's actually hard to see on the volume. It's not clear at all. But if you can make out this red volume sort of candle, it went pretty high. And this reaction rally, okay, we're only half an hour into this hour, but the volume is significantly lower. And so obviously this means, you know, we're not making that V-shaped correction, which we've really been looking forward to. If you guys saw the stream yesterday, I think it was Morton put the really good question forward. What would be the best case scenario in your eyes? And I said that it would be a big market buy, a big pump like we saw on the 4th of April, which sent us from the 6,000s to nearly to 8,000 is actually where we wicked up to. And you know, we could see the same thing happening here. It's a bit too predictable in this case, but it really does depend. So yeah, what we're looking at right now, again, very clearly, I think we're going to be seeing another rising wedge here. So we could be making our way back up to support, which on our previous rising wedge was 6,600, and that would make complete sense. Let me put this horizontal line in. You know, we could be hitting levels like this. And we rise maybe across the time frame of a day, 2 days, 1 hour. I don't know. But obviously, after a dump, we are expecting a bounce. This is... we get this rising wedge, we break down below, and then it's really the question, do we break below 6,400? And guys, if we do, I've been talking to VIP members in our VIP chat about this at length today, and really what I'm thinking is if we break below 6,400, my targets are not even 6,000. I'm not eyeing any of those levels. In fact, I'm going to be looking at the low 5,000s, and it's actually at that point where I'm going to be thinking, okay, we are clearly continuing with this bubble pop cycle. This is the deciding point, and if we are, it means we're going to be seeing levels of potentially as low as the 3,000s, maybe even 2,000s. To really complete that bubble pop. 20k to 2,000 is a 90% correction, and it would make sense if we complete this cycle, but it wouldn't happen overnight. So I think there's this really wide impression in these markets right now that if we dip below 6,400 or 6,000, we're suddenly going to just go right down to 3,000 or 4,000, and that's not going to happen. This kind of thing gets drawn out over really long periods. So obviously this is a massive downtrend, and any analyst will tell you just from looking at this, let's disregard the previous trend because then it becomes a little bit less clear. But with this kind of a downtrend, with this kind of an RSI, we go to the daily and the RSI is now below 30. It's something like 29. With something like this, it's very clear we're going to be seeing a nice uptrend, at least a little bit of a rally to send us up just a little bit before we continue our way down, if we do. But like I was saying, this isn't going to go down to 3,000 or 4,000 really quickly. It's going to be drawn out over a period of weeks and months. We've held these levels for this long. You can't expect us to drop so far low in price now, just in the period of, a week. It's not going to happen. So, I've gone on for quite a long time, and I have been ignoring your messages. I'm sorry. I'm going to go look through them now. Is the end near? That's a good question. I think we'll touch on that later. Still no capitulation. I mean, yeah, I think these were bots shorting Bitcoin here, but there was definitely also some capitulation happening, but nothing wide scale. Yeah, true. Bad news first. Yeah, I always like to do bad news first. Dude, how do you feel getting people to buy 15% ago? If people have been making financial decisions based off my videos, that's up to them. I don't really care. Nomar, thank you for subscribing. It's my first day. I just bought and sold something. What the fuck? Right. Is there really any hope for Litecoin? Okay, that's a good question. Let's go to Litecoin real quick. Short answer, I think, is no. I did post in Telegram. If we dip below $100, it's looking really bleak for Litecoin. $100 is that key support area. It's not even a good support area, but it's all we've got with Litecoin because it rallied so quickly from the $50 area up to 100. Litecoin moves in its own way. This is extremely hard to predict. My best guess, based on prior experience with these markets, is that Bitcoin is going to run first, alts might be having their fun as well, and then when everyone least expects it, with Litecoin, it's going to suddenly just rocket up somehow. I think that's a very nice pattern that would play out with Litecoin, but if we're talking about the short or mid-term, I just don't see it recovering right now. It's a hard one. I mean, wow, look at this. I didn't even notice this volume. Look at how steeply this dropped off. That's pretty disgusting. We all know Coinbase has had some really big volume problems, though, part of their manipulation or whatever. So, we go to Kraken or Bitfinex and we're going to get a much more accurate chart of what's going on. So, let's disregard Coinbase for volume, actually. But, this, I'm not seeing it. One thing to note here, though, is... let's go to the bullish now. All right, I think we're ready to talk about the bullish aspect, and I think I showed you this in the previous video. Let's go check Bitcoin's price real quick. Yeah, so I think I showed you this in the previous video where we had these Bitcoin shorts going really high, and this is where we've got all the retail investors, retail traders, the average Joes in their basement and all that, shorting Bitcoin now because they feel too much pain and they think it's going to go down to zero or whatever. And because of that, we're getting a lot of short action. So you can see how it's been rising really steadily with very few short squeezes, you know, in these past few days. So I think it's about time for these shorts to get squeezed. I mean, I know you can't do technical analysis on this, like I said last time, but you can still get a very good insight into markets. And, you know, shorts never really climb this well without a squeeze. And we can go to the longs, and we're looking at the opposite story here. You know, longs have been liquidated, and longs are actually sitting at a very good support right now. This is a fairly strong historical support. It's where we've got a lot of price action. I don't think, yeah, you can't run the VPVR indicator on this, but if we could, we'd see a lot of action in this area. And, you know, with longs this low, we're at 29,951, and a similar story with the shorts, 26,000. These are very close. There's nearly the same amount of shorts as there is longs, which isn't something you'd expect. But given that longs are on a support and shorts are at a strong resistance, and we've been declining this quickly, the RSI is so low, I think it's very obvious that we're ready for a bounce now. I'm very confident in saying that. You know, how big the bounce will be, I can't answer that, but you know, a few days of rallying upwards I think is definitely in play. At the very least, I think what we're gonna get is a period like this back in April, but you know, repeating a pattern like this is like I said, it's too predictable. I don't think it's gonna happen again, which is why I'm seeing a short-term correction upwards, at least, before we continue our way back up. That's how I'm feeling. That's the bullish news there, but it's really up to you what you do. I mean, I'm getting so much flack for people buying at, what was it, like 7,600? Obviously, none of this is financial advice, and you will know that, but you know, you got to weigh up these odds, and I'm always giving you guys what I think. Truthfully, I'm never hiding that stuff. So let me go back to these comments now. Okay, so I think the whales are looking to get some cheap coin as they know it's going to moon soon. Greedy bastards. It's likely, it's very possible. The only thing is, at times like this, yes, whales and all these big players want to get cheap coins before they moon them, but they've turned sentiment so bad at this point, to the point where even breaking 64 and 6,000 looks quite possible right now. But it's at times like this, you know, it's at times when shorts are incredibly high, where you're about to get a big reversal in the other direction. I think it's so obvious. I mean, it's just a matter of waiting. I'm surprised it didn't happen today. And, you know, the longer it goes on for, the more strong I think that reversal could be. What about alts? Good question. I think I'll get to those in a minute, though. Price is at pivot point. Watch closely which direction market chooses. Exactly. It's 6,400 is the most important price we've had for the past few months, I think. You know, since April. There is so much positive news coming out, it seems hard to believe that the market wouldn't reflect the news. Yeah, I completely agree with you. That's what I was mentioning with the fundamentals of the market. The fundamentals are incredibly strong, and yet we're still going down. Prices being really strongly suppressed, and now that suppression has turned into capitulation and anger and depression and all those emotions. So it's so hard to know where it's going to go right now. But this positive news is going to keep on coming out. You know, like I said, I wish I was able to put that video out, which I planned for today. But obviously, I decided to talk about Bitcoin's price because there's a lot of panic right now. But, you know, when you guys do see that video, it's on one specific alt. It's already been called in VIP. It's like it's an example for the wider crypto market. I mean, I see it going to the moon and beyond. Let's ignore that. I see that going to the moon and beyond. And that's going to reflect the wider crypto market as well. So, I mean, I don't get it, but it just looks like really strong suppression. What happens to coins when they go really low? Can we just wait it out, or do they go bankrupt as sorts? Yeah, that's a good question. When they go really low, it depends what you're talking about. So, I wanted to show you the dragon chart, but I just remembered it's not on TradingView. But let's check out ICX. This is one which I've been trading, but thankfully sold all of it before it reached these disgusting levels. It's at 29,000 sats. You know, if we're talking about really low, we're either talking about 24,000, 25,000 sats. That's really low. That's half of where it was like a month ago. Or we're talking about when it hit Binance, and that's around 1,300 sats. What happens is you're going to get a period of consolidation at the bottom. So kind of like this cup. It's going to look like a cup. You're going to have a period of consolidation at the absolute low, and it's impossible to know where that low is going to be. You can raise your odds of finding it by drawing trend lines and Fibonacci retracements, but on the whole, it's very, very hard to know where the bottom is. But when it does hit in, it's either going to go with a V-shaped correction and shoot right back up. That's if we get volume. Or it's going to stagnate and then slowly rise back up, and then when we go bull, when we get some good sentiment in the market, that's when coins like ICX and Dragon might, decide to shoot up again. What coin is currently the best to invest to? Bitcoin, I'd say, but not financial advice, But I think Bitcoin is the best one to be in right now, because what the? I'm sorry about that. My cat jumped on me. That's annoying. No, she literally put her claws in me. That was scary. Litecoin, low risk, high reward. Yes, I think it is one of those. My cat's a bitch for scratching me like that. Did everyone make their bowel movements today? You expose yourself and you're, okay, I can't go through these right now. Finally time to sell. Hodling is stressful. Bitcoin 12k next week. Funny to see how people do not understand Bitcoin and other cryptos. Look at Amazon charts, for example. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of misguided perceptions in these markets. A lot of people could do with doing a lot of research right now, but her name is Amy, by the way. She's a better cat. Yeah, I'm sorry for scaring you guys. Yeah. Her portfolio. She's pissed. She's been pissed since January, since Bitcoin didn't form that double top. Yeah, so, I mean, that's, somebody asked about the alt market. I'm done with the main analysis of the market right now. Go over to these alt markets. What we're looking at is a market cap of $283 billion with a volume of 15 billion. So yesterday, I think it was about 19, and we had a low of somewhere around $14 billion today. So we have been rising when this sell-off started. I'm going to let my cat out because I don't want that happening again. Where was I? I forgot. Right, yeah, so volume. It's increased slightly with the sell-off. Dominance has also increased because alts are getting liquidated, and yet again, it's the same story, guys. When Bitcoin is not doing well, alts are doing worse. So we're looking at the Bitcoin prices for these alts, which means every single alt right here is being traded against Bitcoin, and we can see how far up or down it's gone. And on the whole, we're looking at, small drops, but, some even green. I saw one that was 24%. Yeah, Loom Network. Never even heard of it. But when we look at price movements like this, it's clear that you should be in Bitcoin. And, that answers someone's questions before who asked me what's the best one to invest in right now. Even then, I actually think that's the wrong question to ask. I think right now you should be holding off away from markets and wait for either much better prices like low 5,000s or wait for a confirmation of an uptrend, which means above 7,600. Right now, if I had a bunch of fiat laying around, I wouldn't be putting it anywhere near crypto. It's just way too volatile. I mean, it's the reason I haven't been doing much trading as well. Okay, let's check out these comments again. I'll buy more of everything. I mean, that's going to work. If you want a dollar cost average, I don't see why that's not going to work. Come back at the end of the year. Yeah, if you hold everything now, if there's no bull run by then, it will be end of 29. I think it will, worst case scenario, it will be this time next year, but that's the absolute worst case scenario. Like you said, Charlie, if you just wait for, winter 2018, you're going to do really well in these markets. You just hold those coins and It's going to go well. How long do you think we're talking before Bitcoin decides to rise again? Weeks, months, year? Good question, Dan. I think we're talking months. See, historically, July has been a bit of a bad month. Last year, what we saw was a lot of FUD because of Bitcoin Cash. We didn't know what was happening with the markets and if Bitcoin was going to die off. And I think that's part of the trend of July is always being pretty bad for Bitcoin. Which is why, I had someone else tweet me today about August being a key date. And I do agree with that. I do think that August is going to be a pretty significant day that we need to keep our eyes on. I just need to refresh this chat here because it's not loading up for me properly. And guys, do make sure you're hitting those like buttons as well. It really does help me out. We reach a lot of new people. Okay, safer buy is Ethereum Classic. What do you think? But I keep stubborn, believe it. Kick ass in autumn. Yeah, I mean, Ethereum Classic, they've had that announcement about being listed to Coinbase, which I love and hate. I love it because it's not Ripple. But I hate it because it's yet another fork being added to Coinbase, which is completely unnecessary. I don't know what direction Coinbase is heading in. I kind of lost a lot of faith in them. Not faith, but respect. I don't really look at Coinbase as much anymore. I mean, the reason I do it for Bitcoin is just for old time's sake because I'm used to it. But Ethereum Classic on Coinbase is definitely a good thing for Ethereum Classic. I think I saw one of your comments about holding it until it gets fully listed there. I mean, the issue with that is it could take weeks or months. I've forgotten what it actually was on their announcement. And if it does take that long, I mean, you could buy Ethereum Classic today at whatever it is, like 29,000 sats. And then within a few months, by the time it gets listed to Coinbase, it will pump. It might pump by 2x, but that 2x could only take it up to maybe 20,000 sats. Because, after those months, it's gone all the way down to 10,000 sats, something like that. So I wouldn't hold it anticipating that Coinbase release. Alright, where are we? It will rise, we just don't know when. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to call the bottoms for these kinds of things. It's just that if we do break 6,400, it then becomes very obvious that the bottom will be somewhere between 3 to 4, maybe 5,000. I don't think it will be as high as 5,000, the bottom, but it really depends on this 6,400. I'm really holding my breath for this area. If we do bounce off here, it's still looking weak, but significantly stronger than it already was. He's totally wrong. You should buy all the dips you can for altcoin, because when it comes back, you're going to get a big return. I'm not sure if you're trolling. You only lose when you sell. Are you okay? All right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you probably are trolling. I'm banning you. I see Otto asking about EOS. You wanted my opinion on it. So, yeah, I mean, they've had that problem with their mainnet launch where they've had a critical bug which they didn't know about until it was too late. So that's not a good look for them. Let's go to the EOS chart here. I mean, everyone's kind of laughing at it falling here. I like to look at the dollar chart for EOS. I mean, yeah, $9. I mean, breaking down to $9. Where I mean, this is a support area. Let's check this fib retracement out. Not that it matters in this kind of market, but let's at least see where it goes. So a potential bottom, yeah, and that lines up with this sort of support here is going to be about, let's get this range. It's going to be somewhere between $9.20 and $8.34. It's going to be somewhere between that area, I think, for a potential bottom. But, as for my opinions for EOS, I like it in the long term. But they have a lot of problems they need to iron out before I'm going to put my money anywhere near it. It's been a while since I traded EOS. I traded it up to the all-time high, but just to trade it. I don't, I'm not too big on EOS itself. An approved ETF will ignite Bitcoin. Litecoin will moon once Gemini announces Litecoin on it. Gemini isn't a very big exchange. I don't think that's going to make a big difference. In fact, right now, if we look at the volume, it's really surprising if you've been in these markets for a while. I'm I've clicked on the completely wrong chart here, but Binance is the exchange with the biggest volume for coins like Bitcoin, so that's pretty surprising because it is only being traded in Tether, so that could be a lot of people trying to protect their assets, and we've just seen Bitcoin dominance rise by another 0.1%, more alts getting liquidated because it's, if you're still holding on to a majority alts right now, I kind of feel sorry for you. You should have known to sell them earlier, but you live and learn. Let's hope that's the last time you make that kind of a mistake. Do you think the big people make 10 new exchanges, put a lot of money there, make 1,000 to 2,000 new jobs, and then just let their colleague to fuck all the market? I didn't get you. I think that's a very elaborate plan that you've laid out, and that's a lot of ifs, and it's a lot of it's a lot of barriers you need to overcome for one very specific result. So no, I don't think that's what the big people are doing. That's just too many steps. We've got to take this a day at a time, especially in a trend like this. It's very hard to look at the long-term trend. You're either, like I said, you're either extremely bullish or extremely bearish, and that's why you want to make profits with these daily swings. Because that's what makes you a lot of money in the long run, if you're just waiting for, if you're bullish and you're just waiting for it to return back to 20k, you're going to be waiting for a while. So it's better to be trading, I think, the midterm trend here. I used to be a big short-term trend guy, but obviously in something like this, the short-term trend just isn't, the short-term is all bots right now. And so midterm is what we're looking at. We're looking at these major swings, 76 to 66. That is a swing you want to be playing, on maybe 10x leverage, and you double your money from that, so more than that. Anything on Coinbase blows up? Yes, it does, but I think the effects will be reduced this time. Rumor has it, it's supposed to be on Gemini this summer. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible. Litecoin is one of the big three. There's been so much infrastructure put in recently. It's going to take a few months to kick in. I'm hoping for mid-July, but more realistic September. Yeah, August, September is what I'd be looking at. July could be very bearish. But again, July is still 2-3 weeks away. And because of that, I still think it's too early to be talking about July. We can talk about the general trend, but it's a gamble, honestly, at this point. You can't be making accurate predictions about what we're looking for in July. I'm optimistic in the long term. Yeah, same for me. Market will bull run for sure in time. Blockchain is the future. Yeah, I think your head's in the right place there, David. That's not just because I agree with you. I think even talking from an objective standpoint, there is a very bright future for blockchain technology, and crypto is what stands behind that. The only thing is, crypto will... blockchain will continue to improve steadily because that's technology, that's coding, that's people actually working, but crypto is traders swinging and emotions and all that stuff. So because of that, there is a detachment between blockchain and crypto. You see a lot of people saying, I love the blockchain but I hate cryptocurrency. It's a little bit stupid to say it that way, but it makes sense. You can see it from their perspective. But there's also that point that no one really wants to be left behind with this technology. But guys, yeah, I am going to be rounding it off about here. I really have been enjoying taking your questions. I'll take a few more as we do round this off and just recap what I'm saying here, because I have seen some more people joining this stream. And guys, like I said, if you can hit those likes up, join the Telegram channel in the description below. And of course, VIP is now open. We're always posting there. Like I said, I've posted that gem, which I'm going to make a video about already in VIP. We give entries and exits there. Exits are exclusive to VIP. And of course, we get to talk to each other in the VIP chat and in private messages and all that. But to recap what I'm looking at here, like I said, all the time now, like I've been saying, 6,400 is this key area. If we can bounce off 6,400, we have significantly more strength, but it's only if we bounce off with volume. So this is really a wait and see, and I think this opportunity is going to come relatively soon. Like I said, I am expecting another rising wedge up to about 6,600, but given that this rising wedge didn't really play out like I expected, it could be the case that we see this doji candle here, and then we just drop down lower to 64 and begin testing that area. But we go back to my reason for why I don't think that's going to happen. The daily RSI is at 28 now, and Bitcoin shorts are extremely high. They've been rising constantly. We look at this RSI. What's the RSI reading? 77. Actually, that's not too bad. But it is still extremely high. I mean, we can draw RSI resistance lines, and we can see, you know, Bitcoin. I mean, the shorts are already well above where they usually are. You know, last time it was this high, we had this huge liquidation of shorts, all in one go. And then we look at the longs. I should probably explain this as well. Shorting Bitcoin means that you place a bet that it's going down, and longing it means that you place a bet that it's going up. So when we get these liquidations, it's when you say it goes down, but then it instead goes up, and your whole position gets closed, and you lose all of the money you put in. That's what these bots like to do to raise liquidity. And what we're seeing right now is a drop down to long support. So I think it's primed, honestly. We look at all of these oversold indicators and the longs and the shorts, and I just think we're so ready for a huge short liquidation, a big short squeeze. I can see it, you know, just rocketing up to, you know, something like 72, maybe, you know, 66 is definitely in play, I think. You know, high 6,000 is very possible, but there's still that hugely bearish bias. Fundamentals override technicals every single day of the week, and right now the fundamental analysis ties in with sentiment, and sentiment is absolutely terrible. So let's go through these questions one last time. I know I am missing out a lot of these, so if you guys do want to get in touch with me at the end of this stream, hit up Crypto Mafia Gold, and you'll see my name in some of my posts. You can just click on that and then message me. Demag buyers also want to buy Bitcoin cheap during 2017 winter mania. People bought for 10k or more because at the time it was perceived as cheap. Today, few people perceive 10k as cheap. This is a real problem. Yeah, you've just outlined the whole reason Bitcoin bubbled, and the only driving factor for Bitcoin going up is FOMO, because people tend to not understand it. So, like I said in the last stream, it's when we start making money, the people already in this stream, you guys commenting, obviously are really invested in this game, or at least take a lot of interest in it. It's when we start making profits and it starts hitting the headlines and news and things like that. That's when we're going to get FOMO action with a lot of other people joining the markets as well. And you know, we're going to be seeing an uptrend on the daily here, with volume increasing at the same time as we go up, and that means further agreement on these prices. So, you know, it's going to take that FOMO action. But, you know, you also mentioned buyers want to buy Bitcoin cheap. They want to buy Bitcoin cheap when it's not cheap. When it does get to levels like 3,000 to 4,000, if your statement holds true, people would immediately buy the dip, and it would jump right up like we did on February the 6th. But when we do get to those levels, Bitcoin, people are going to be saying Bitcoin is dead and it's going to $100, it's going to $1,000. I'm going to wait, you know, 2 months longer, or, you know, I need to pay my rent and then I'm going to buy Bitcoin. Kind of, you know, stuff like that. When we get to those levels, that's going to be the sentiment. And because of that, you know, people only want to buy Bitcoin cheap when it isn't cheap. So that's my stance on it right now. But I am impressed. I'm talking to a lot of people who, you know, at first glance you would think are amateur traders, and they're even saying, you know, should I buy Bitcoin right now? And my answer is never yes or no. My answer is always, well, it's looking pretty bleak right now. And they say, okay, well then I should wait. And this is very obvious. It's just that it's strongly lacking in practice. Short squeeze will bring the bulls to start the new run, hopefully a few more days, maybe a week or two of this. Yeah, I mean, I can even see a week or potentially more consolidation in this area. Sentiment is really bad though, so I mean, it's hard to say. I think if we level out in this area, the RSI goes back into neutral territory, but everyone's still feeling really burnt out. Sentiment could carry it down to 6,400 and lower. So, I mean, this is really a watch and see. I'm still not trading in these areas. Ian asking, why doesn't your trading view look like mine? I've actually gone into my settings here and changed... Where is it? I don't even know what I've changed now. I changed the candle colors, so you can see it's blue right now. Usually it's green like that. So I've just changed the colors here, make it a little bit more interesting to look at for you guys and for myself. Bitcoin 4-hour RSI divergence. Yeah, I mean, these things, I think it's just another reason for Bitcoin, either climbing higher or lower. But, the overall trend, I think right now, what we're looking at is overwhelming sentiment going down. And because of that, I think we're going to be going up. Do you think we'll be seeing 800 billion market cap again? Good question. Yes, I do. But I don't think we're going to be seeing it soon. We're at not even 300 billion anymore. That's going to take 3 times gain from here, something like that. And that would bring us up to 800 billion and, 1 trillion onwards from that. 1 trillion, 3 trillion, 5, 10. Once we break 1 trillion, it becomes a really big deal. Even 500 billion is that big resistance. Yeah. I mean, obviously we're going to be hitting those areas later, but not anytime soon, I think. It's going to take a while. Surviving frugally till winter and then retirement. Yeah, Keto, you've got it on the ball there. I mean, I feel like there's a very high probability if you just stick in for a few months, and even if you just keep everything on cold storage. And by the way, this is my preach to you guys: buy a cold storage wallet, buy a Trezor, buy a Ledger Nano S, buy a hardware wallet. If you have, when I bought mine, I think I had $10,000 in Bitcoin, something like that, or 1,000, I forgot now. But if you've got anything, above $1,000 even, you got to protect that stuff. Exchanges are liable to hacks, but if it's on a hardware wallet, it's not hackable. So, I mean, it can be, but, you drop the chances of that very, very low. So yeah, definitely get a hardware wallet if you don't already have one, guys, and you've got wealth that you need to protect. A good rule of thumb I saw is that if losing the money you have in crypto would change your life, buy a hardware wallet. And at my point, 10K definitely would have. Are you convinced that incoming X-Rapid adoption is going to drive the XRP price significantly? I don't follow Ripple price. I'm sorry about that. Ripple is going to run when the manipulation, the market makers want it to, because it's so centralized. So I don't really like to ever look at this coin. I mean, we look at the volume here, it's at 300 million volume, along with bcash, 2 of the most pathetic coins in the crypto space. And these are both somehow in the top 5, and these volumes compared to 1.9 billion on Ethereum, 4.6 billion on Bitcoin, and even 1 billion on EOS, putting, EOS is 9 billion market cap and Ripple is 21 billion. There's no interest in these things, I think. So, yeah, guys, I'm done with this stream. I really hope you have found something useful from this. Again, if you want to hit me up for more questions or just to talk, Telegram is where you can reach me, but I will be signing off for the night probably now. And guys, like I mentioned, if you want to get in VIP, definitely hit me up. We are going to be making some very big profits when these things turn green. And we are obviously already trading on leverage with Bitcoin. So it's looking pretty good. And of course, if you're not even in the Telegram channels yet, it's in the description. It's completely free. All of the content in the gold channel is still extremely good. I've heard really good testimonials of people profiting very well from the gold channel. So if you can't afford VIP or whatever the case is, you don't even want to get in, gold is still where it's at. You get a lot more of these kinds of streams basically, and you can read back through what I say, so it's a lot more convenient. But with that, guys, yeah, I really hope you have enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that like button one last time if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new to this channel and you've watched this far. And of course, tick the bell so you don't miss out on my uploads. I've been really loving the support lately, guys. This channel has been extremely dead for a very long time, which doesn't feel good, but it's been picking up right now. So thanks to you guys. Shout out to every single one of you for tuning into these streams. I hit my desk there, and I'm gonna have to check if my cat has just given me my death sentence by infecting me with some sort of cat disease. I don't know. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.